Hello and welcome to another episode of Current Travels and Other Stories. Today we're traveling to the town of St. Augustine, which is at the state of Florida. And this is perhaps the oldest town in the continental United States. So today we're just gonna travel around town and visit the fort of San Marcos, which is a historical site. Here I am traveling downtown. This was a day around my birthday. I treated myself with some dinner, which was some call of the day fish with greens, hush puppies, and black eyed peas, and some help of tartar sauce. And here we are traveling to A1A, and this is really close to the A1A, which goes all the way down to the Keys. And we are crossing the St. John's River. This is around nearby the old city of St. Augustine, which we will see some really awesome historical places to visit. Basically, the city of St. Augustine, if you're not familiar with it, is at the northeast of the peninsula of Florida, around I will say 30-40 miles from the city of Jacksonville. And here we are at the old city of St. Augustine, which is considered one of the oldest cities around the continental United States. And we are traveling around the old fort of St. Marcos, if I'm not mistaken. And the fort of St. Marcos is the oldest military structure in the continental United States, built by the Europeans. As you know, the peninsula of Florida used to be owned by the Spanish Empire. The St. John's River. As you can see, until 1821, this was known as Fort St. Marcos, and it was called Fort Marion, and it was active from 1821 to 1900s. And these cannons were used and filled off with hot, heated up cannonballs and shot against the invasive warships coming from the sea. As you can see, these are placed in front of the castle. So this is a hot furnace, which, if you can see, was used to heat up cannonballs that will later be shot by cannons towards invasive warships, which will eventually cause fire and sink, caused by the damage caused by all the fire of these incendiary cannonballs. And here we have what we call it, in certain parts of the Caribbean, a garita, which is basically a watchtower. And this garita was used for any soldiers to stay and watch for any potential invasion coming from the sea, entering through the St. John's River. More commanding views of the St. John's River. Este es el castillo al otro lado de. Here we are at the other side of the castle from where we started. Bueno, al otro lado. Estamos al otro lado del castillo, ¿no? El castillo al otro lado. Al otro lado del castillo. Seguimos. One of the tour guides coming in to their day's work, dressed up to the colonial times. These are the barracks, where the soldiers went to sleep. Personally, more like a chicken coop than an actual bedroom, in my opinion. I feel lucky to not have been born in that time period. The Castillo de San Marcos is the oldest masonry fort in the continental United States. Castillo San Felipe del Morro in San Juan, Puerto Rico is older. Located on the western shore of Matanzas Bay in the city of St. Augustine, Florida. The fort was designed by the Spanish engineer Ignacio Daza. Construction began in 1672. 107 years after the city's founding by Spanish admiral and conquistador Pedro Fernández de Avilés, when Florida was part of the Spanish Empire. The fort's construction was ordered by Governor Francisco de la Guerra y de la Vega after the destructive raid of English privateer Robert Seals in 1668. War proceeded under the administration of Guerra's successor, Manuel de Sendoya, in 1671, although the first stone was not laid until 1672. After Britain gained control of Florida in 1763, pursuant of the Treaty of Paris, St. Augustine became the capital of British East Florida, and the fort was named Fort San Mark until the Peace of Paris in 1783, when Florida was transferred back to Spain. In 1819, Spain signed the Adam-Onis Treaty, which ceded Florida to the United States in 1821. Consequently, the fort was designated a United States Army base and renamed Fort Marion in honor of American Revolutionary War hero Francis Marion. The fort was declared a national monument in 1824, and after 251 years of continuous military possession, was deactivated in 1933. The 20.48 acre, or 8.29 hectares, site was then turned over to the United States National Park Service. In 1942, the original name Castillo de San Marcos was restored by an act of Congress. Castillo de San Marcos was twice besieged, first by the English colonial forces led by Carolina Colony Governor James Moore in 1702, and then by Georgia Colonial Governor James Oglethorpe in 1740. Possession of the fort was changed 6 times, all peaceful, amongst 4 different governments: the Spanish Empire, the Kingdom of Great Britain, the Confederate States of America, and the United States of America, Spain and the United States having possession 2 times each. Under United States control, the fort was used as a military prison to incarcerate members of the Native American tribes, starting with the Seminole, including the famous war chief Osceola in the Second Seminole War, and members of western tribes, including Geronimo's band of Chiricahua Apache. The Native American art form known as ledger art had its origins at the fort during the imprisonment of members of the Plains tribes such as Howling Wolf and the Southern Cheyenne. If you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe, and see you in the next episode. Bye.